Hey friends, how are you? Hopefully you are doing well. I hope you had fun with yesterday's challenge. Today we're going to talk about leading by example, which I feel like is something that we say a lot. But let's kind of like unpack what that really looks like. Play it out. I think a lot of times we forget that we can't expect more out of the people we're leading than we are willing to do. So as we give our teams advice on different things in their businesses, or as we help them set goals, I don't think we should ever be setting them larger than what we were willing to do ourselves, because it's totally fine for someone to outperform you. Absolutely fine. Honestly, I encourage it. That's a dream come true for me if somebody can just come up from behind me and kick my butt, right? So we're not talking about always being better than your teammates. I'm talking about always doing your best and never expecting more out of them than you would do yourself. So if you are going into a month and you wait until the very last week to get your 500 in as a leader, you cannot expect your team to not wait to the last of the month as well. You're still going to have some that will, no matter what you do, but they will always perform by default with worse habits than you have if they need you to guide them. Some people, they're going to just do it by themselves. Like, you're going to have people who come along and they are go-getters. And some people really, really need to be able to watch what someone's doing in order to feel confident to do it themselves. And in order for us to build confidence and work ethic in our teams, we have to make sure that we are leading from the front. So my personal goal is to always have my 500 in the first week of the month, period. The first week doesn't end if I don't know where my 500 is coming from and it being put in. So that involves a lot of planning ahead the month before. I make sure my 500 is in the first week. And then I have a personal goal of about 500 a week, because there's no reason for me to be able to get 500 in one day on the very last day of the month if I had to. If I could do that, why can't I just do it once a week? Right? And work with that kind of intensity. So I like to work in a way that hopefully encourages others to work that way as well, because I want people to realize that what I do and where I've been, anyone can get to. Just copy me, right? Follow me, do what I'm doing. So it's important to me to make sure that I always know where my PRV is coming from and that I don't wait till the last week of the month to get mine in. And so leading by example can take more forms than just income producing activities. Other things that we can do to lead by example has a lot to do with the culture that we set in our team. So if our teams watch us complain or tear people down or just not really operate in a very team focused way, or if we tend to act selfishly, they're going to do the same thing. And so a lot of our actions, we really have to pay attention to what we're doing, because if we don't want what we are doing multiplied, we have to stop doing it. And we can't be two people. Like, you can't fake it and then teach people other things because they're going to notice, or it's going to fall flat. So you can't fake it, and you can't be two people. So you can't be positive in your team page but a negative person in life. It's just not going to work. It doesn't translate that well. It doesn't work like that. And people can tell if someone's being fake. And one of Scentsi's core values is authenticity. So you either got to be someone or not be someone. So it's really important that if you want a certain culture in your team, and you want a culture of people putting things in first week of the month, you want a culture of people sponsoring, if you want a culture of people having lots of parties, if you want a culture of people lifting each other up, celebrating everyone's successes and welcoming new people, then you have to set the tone. You have to be the first on the scene to do those things. So I would love to hear from you guys ways in which you think you might have been training people to do certain things that you yourself weren't willing to do. I'd love to have a conversation about what some of those things might be in your business. And sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it. We just teach people things, but we don't realize we haven't really been doing those things in a long time. Or we think that their business is in just such a different place than ours that what we're telling them to do doesn't really translate into things that we need to do. When honestly, a lot of the stuff is the same no matter where you're at in your business. So leading by example by setting the kind of habits that you want others to have in your business is the best way to build confidence in people. Like, if they can see that you're doing it and you're transparent about what you're doing, because, hey, you're making live videos in the team page when you're working your business and you're teaching people exactly and everything that you know, they're going to know that they can do it too, because they're going to watch you doing it. That transparency is huge. Make sure they see what you're doing, because if you do work really hard, don't let it go unnoticed. Make sure that your team sees how hard you work and they see the things that you do that work and that you teach them along the way, because not only are they going to see you working and they're going to know that everything that they end up with is going to be worked for, they're going to respect what you do more. Sometimes if you don't make it very known how your business operates and works, they're going to think the only thing you do with Scentsy is serve them, which is important. We do serve our teammates, but they also have to see that as a leader, we are also still working on our foundation. We are still very focused, and almost more so focused on our PRV, our meeting new people, our adding new people to our front line, because those are still the most important things in Scentsy. I mean, we recruit people to be independent. And the best way to get people to be independent is to give them confidence in what they're doing. And it doesn't always have to be something separate. It doesn't have to be, I work my business, then I train others. It's just as simple as you turning the camera on yourself while you work and killing two birds with one stone. So like we talked about yesterday with the live videos, I just want to remind you guys, like, leading by example. If you're working, be proud of your work and show people what you're doing and be transparent with what you're doing. Lead by example. You don't always have to lead separately from your everyday work. It should be able to be married very, very closely. So make sure that you think about what your dream team looks like. What kind of people do you want to attract to your team? Because we have the power to kind of control who's attracted to us by making sure we're putting the right things out there, the right kinds of energies, the right kinds of attitudes, the right kinds of personality, the right kind of work ethic, and being very transparent with what we do. So I want you to think about the kinds of habits that you would love for team members of yours to have. They may not have them yet, but say, I would love for my team to party the first week of the month. I would love for my leaders to have 500 in the first week of the month, and then the rest of the month they should be building their foundation and meeting new people. I would love for all of my leaders to at least have one new person added to their front line every month, because I know that that's what it takes to build a sustained foundation. 1 to 2 people a month, period, average. And so, but I can't expect my leaders and my teammates to do that if I'm not doing it. I have to be down in the grind with them, because otherwise, how am I going to know what they're going through, right? And if they can see me doing it, they'll know that that's what needs done. So some of the things that matter a lot to me are, helping my leaders get their PRV in the first week of the month, making sure that they are always having opportunity conversations and bringing new people into their front line every month. And then also making sure that we are welcoming all new people, making sure that we are cheering people on when they post about something awesome going on. When somebody shouts someone out, that we jump on there and we congratulate them on whatever that was. And then being willing to help others. Just that generosity and that cheering people on thing is huge to me. I think it's really important to take note of the people that when you've succeeded at something and people are cheering you on, who doesn't stand up and clap? Like, who doesn't clap for you? And I want a team culture full of people who clap for everybody else. Because we rise when we are proud of others who are rising. And so that's one thing that I love, and that's one thing that I try to build in our team. And that's built by me setting that tone, and then you setting that tone in your teams, by leading by example, by you being the first one to do it. So think about some things that would really think about things that, like, this is what my dream team would look like. And how can you start doing these things yourself to make sure that you're leading by example? Let's just have the conversation below. What does leading by example look like in your business right now? What are some ways where you could be more action and less talk in your business right now? Let's have that conversation below. Bye, guys.